Welcome, everyone, to the Best of Markham podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca, your personal trainers for chronic conditions. Here with me today is Ki from Ki's Kitchen. Ki, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to speak with you and learn a bit more as well about your business. I feel like there's something we could do together here. Myself, I am a trauma-informed anti-inflammatory foods Ayurvedic nutritionist and longevity health coach. I specialize in helping people reverse chronic inflammation and chronic illnesses, specifically with regards to Alzheimer's, cancer, type 2 diabetes, gut health, and heart health, and life after 50, and all that comes with life after 50.
Wow, so you do a lot.
I do a lot, but I love it. It all ties in. All of it ties in together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned Ayurvedic nutritionist, health coach, and also you have a meal delivery service.
I do. I own a meal delivery service. We are the only actually anti-inflammatory meal delivery service within the Markham Durham region, at least North Toronto area. And our meals are curated and made by me. They're all whole foods plant-based, but balanced for all the macros, and they have successfully helped people either strengthen their immune system on their cancer journey, completely reversed gut health situations, disorders, and actively help people to lower their type 2 diabetes, and in most cases, actually completely reverse it.
Yeah.
So we do deliver across Markham and the Durham region, and we cook every other week. And our meals are, as I said, whole foods, plant-based, and gluten-free as well. And everything is allergen friendly, so it's customizable to a point.
Yeah, yeah, super healthy. Now, when you say plant-based, a lot of people don't even know the meaning of plant-based. They use the words plant-based, vegetarian, and vegan interchangeably. Um, so here
And they're not.
they're not. So, because we're in the same field, we know what plant-based is. How would you
Yeah.
define plant-based? Does that mean your foods have no meat, no fish, or they have it, there's just more plants than meat?
No, so vegetarian, technically vegetarian comes from the word vegetable, and so that should cover the gamut. But in the Western world, vegetarian can mean anything that is not mammal. So everything that's not a cow or a pig. Vegan is actually more of a movement than a way of eating, and vegan does not mean healthy. Vegan can just mean um, burgers and hot dogs that are made with a lot of preservatives and additives. Not all of them are. I'm just saying
Mhm.
don't associate vegan food with healthy food because the vegan, as I said, is a movement. It's about the environment and ethical practices towards animals. Whole foods plant-based is exactly what it sounds like. Foods from nature that have been prepared in their most whole foods or most recognizable way, meaning you go to the grocery and you see a pepper, you come home and you cook the pepper, and by the time you finish cook it, it still looks like a pepper. You know what I mean? Like you could look at your plate and say, "Oh, that's broccoli, that's sweet potatoes, that's beans." You know what I mean? Like they have not been processed, they have not been refined in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And whole foods plant-based will cover legumes, so beans, peas, and pulses, whole grains, nuts, seeds, um, and foods that grow above the ground and foods that grow under the ground.
Got it. So, of all the things you do, Ayurvedic nutritionist, health coach, meal delivery service, what was the progression? Which came first, second, and then most recent?
To be honest, it was the food that started. So in 2015, I was actually in construction. My background is actually construction.
Right.
I owned Toronto's number one stone restoration company for many years. And then in 2015, to cut a very long story short, I didn't have the business anymore. It was taken away from me. And my youngest sister-in-law was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Hmm.
So while trying to figure out my path in life, and I decided, okay, I've been a cook my whole life, and she likes my food. I said, let's figure out what kind of food you need to eat to reverse MS. And of course, that at that point, it was unheard of that MS could even be reversed.
Hmm.
And so she worked with a naturopath who specialized in multiple sclerosis. And I did the research on the food, and together we worked and we completely reversed her MS within 6 months.
Right.
And so the food came first because after I realized, hold on a second here. The food reversed her MS, my PCOS and insulin resistance, my husband's high blood pressure and his high cholesterol, and we all lost weight in a healthy way. And it's been 11 years since, well, this year, sorry, it's 10 years since my sister-in-law was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and she's still MS free, 100% MS free. So the food came first because I realized, hold on a second, all we did was make the right food, and she took the supplements, and this worked. So then I met another really good friend of mine, Antonetta. She's very well known in Stouffville and Markham, and she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2016. And she met me at a women's discussion where I was a speaker. And she asked me to make all her meals for her. And in 7 days, we got her fasting blood glucose down from 14, which is unheard of,
Yeah.
down to 7. And so I realized, oh, okay, food has a healing power. Let's do this. And then as I progressed, um, I am a very good chef. There's tooting my own horn a little bit. I am really good at what I do. But I didn't want to just be a chef because Toronto is filled with amazing, amazing food and fantastic chefs. I couldn't compete. So I
Yeah.
decided to then, what I really wanted to do was teach people how to use food as a healing tool
Right.
and food that tastes good, not bland and boring food, but actual food that they can sustain for their longevity.
Right. So okay. So start off with food. But at that point, you weren't a nutritionist yet.
No, I was not. I had not started my studies yet. I began right after, I had already actually started in 2016, and then it took off after I got the proof that I can do this by helping Antonetta reverse her type 2 diabetes. And then I dove right into it.
Okay.
And I had actually been studying Ayurveda and yoga my whole life. I just didn't know that it was going to be part of my life later on. I grew up studying it.
Okay. So meal delivery came first, and then other things came on top of that.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So between those three things, nutritionist, health coach, and meal delivery service, in terms of how much of your time they occupy, is it like an even split, that one third, one third, one third, or does one occupy more of your time than the rest?
I would say it's an even split because we cook every other week. I'd say 4 days of that week are taken up with meal delivery,
Hmm.
then one day for me to rest, and then health coaching because I do group coaching and one-on-one coaching as well. Will
Right.
take up a few more days, and then creation, like whatever program I'm working on at the time.
Got it. And it's pretty good synergy between the three. It's not like out of left field. It's not like instruction and nutrition because they're way different. But it's
Right.
health coaching and meal delivery.
Correct.
In those sense. Now you're not just those things. You're also an entrepreneur, of course. So
Yes.
what made you decide to not be a nutritionist for a company, for a clinic, but for all of these do your own run your own business?
I've actually always been an entrepreneur. I grew up that way. My dad is an entrepreneur, and I've only ever held two jobs where I worked for somebody else, and I left both companies because I really don't have the personality to work for somebody. My husband says you don't play nicely with others, so you can't work for somebody else. You got to figure this out for yourself. And he's right. He's right. I don't have the personality to be able to take orders from somebody. I would like to be the director of my life. And when things go really well, I can pat myself on the shoulder. And when things really suck, it's me to who has to take the fall for it. So
Yeah.
I'd rather be responsible for it than have somebody else dictate anything to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a similar background, although I actually was a pretty good employee, but once I tasted the freedom of entrepreneurship, I'm like, I'm not going back to this ever again.
Right?
I do play nicely with others, but there's so much stuff about entrepreneurship that I just love so much that I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years so far. Personal
Yeah.
training for 19, entrepreneurship for 15. So
Awesome. Awesome. It has major perks. But it takes a certain personality, in my opinion, because you also have to be willing to keep yourself up when things aren't going well. There
Yeah,
is no fallback. There is no check coming to you at the end of the week if things are not going well. There is no pension. There's a lot of things that are not coming. So you really have to believe in yourself and the product you're selling. If the product is yourself, like me, I am my product. Or
yeah,
if you have an actual service that you're selling, you got to really believe it and be able to be able to sustain your belief in your ability to share your knowledge and earn money sharing that knowledge no matter what the circumstance.
yeah, exactly. I mean, and it also varies business to business because when you're in a job, you can count on a predictable paycheck. You know how much you're going to get every 2 weeks or every month. In
Yep,
entrepreneurship, some businesses you can and some businesses you can't. Some businesses
correct.
start at zero every month. I have
Absolutely.
I have a friend who used to have a health food store, a supplement store in Fairview Mall. He said his rent, never mind staff, never mind product, just rent was about
Mhm.
$32,000 per month. When you add in staff, yeah. When you add in staff and the actual product, it's probably more like 45,000 per month.
For
So
sure.
at the beginning of the month, he's at minus $45,000. And he has 31 days to break, well, nobody wants to break even, to make a profit. Uh,
Correct. He has to live.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He's got bills to pay. His income is
Yeah.
not predictable, but his bills are. The mortgage can predictably come at every time. Your interest predictably comes every single time. Your hydro, your electricity come predictably. Whereas your
Oh,
income,
the government is right on time every week.
I once heard a joke that if you think that nobody cares about whether you live or die, just try missing a couple bills.
Right? The government really cares.
They really, really care about you, about your money.
About your money. That's right.
Yeah,
That's a good way to
exactly.
put it.
Now, in terms of marketing, what do you do for marketing? How do you get new clients, both for meal delivery as well as health coaching and nutrition?
I do have a marketing company called Start 'em Up, who helps me with who helps me with the overall marketing newsletters and posts. And whenever I'm teaching a course, they'll help me to create the literature for the course and so on. And we market on social media, of course, like everybody else, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And how I get new customers, usually by either doing a talk somewhere, whether I'm doing a talk in a women's group or at a yoga center or a seniors center, or if I do collaborations like this, for example, when new people hear about me.
Mhm.
That's typically how we get, and word of mouth, of course, when, one of my clients has a success story and we share it or they share it and other people hear about it. As well as with the meal service, it's a lot of word of mouth. Oh, I tried Key's meals. They're so good. You should try them. I feel so much better, blah, blah, blah. So it's all for the meal service, I'd say it's a lot of word of mouth.
Okay, so you have a combination. You have word of mouth, you have social media, and you have presentations.
Correct.
Okay, and if you were to break it down in terms of total business, how much of
Mhm.
it comes from referrals versus social media versus presentations versus other sources, miscellaneous?
I would say that social media makes up a very small 10%.
Okay,
Um, it really takes a long time for somebody on social media to be daring enough to
yeah,
try something new. It takes time for them. Whereas when I give a presentation, usually if I give a presentation, I'm taking food with me.
right.
So while I'm talking, they're tasting the food, so it's not imagining what I'm talking about. It's there right in front of them.
That's the best
And
mark.
right. And so I would say I would say a good 70% would come from there,
From presentations.
from from presentations. Yeah.
Amazing. And what kind of presentations do you do? I mean, so let me break it down. Um, which like do you, is it are they corporate talks? Are they in community centers? Are they seniors' homes?
Most of them, to be honest, are in women's groups. I haven't broken out into the corporate talks very much. I've done a few of them, but not a whole backload.
Mhm.
And I do enough seniors talks, but that's more so about information, not so much. That's more so on the nutrition side for them because these are all seniors who are stuck in their ways. They've developed their patterns. They're not really looking to change anything and try anything new. So it's more about teaching them with what you're already doing. Here's how you can take that and improve it this much more.
Right,
Um,
right.
so I would say the large majority of presentations that I've done in the past would be in women's groups where women are proactively looking to
Okay.
enhance their health. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean I won't go anywhere. I'll go anywhere anybody asks me to go, and I don't specialize in women's health.
Yeah,
I believe in equal opportunity for everybody. Everybody has to live long and strong. So we try not to, whether this offends women or doesn't offend them, doesn't matter to me. We try not to use women focused terms, you know what I mean? Because, for example, just about 2 months ago, I was a panelist and speaker at a men's health online seminar. And I was so happy to be asked to speak on men's health because for me, it's a rare opportunity because, God bless women. There's so much information for us out there, which is wonderful,
yeah.
but I don't see the same thing happening for men
Right, right.
in the same way. So I'm one of those advocates who's happy to say, hey, I'll talk to you. You have any
Yeah, yeah.
questions? I'll help you.
Awesome. Now, with women's groups, it's one thing to come into a presentation, do a good job, and then sell some meal delivery. On the other hand, how do you get that speaking engagement to begin with?
Uh, real, Realistically, just cold calling them.
Yeah, yeah,
Make up a make up a cover letter with a flyer, send it out to a bunch of people, and then follow and let them know I'm going to be following up with you with a phone call
yeah.
to book a session, a time to talk, introduce myself, and then book a presentation.
Okay, so you're sending flyers in the mail.
No, no, by email.
Okay, okay, understood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like for example, looking up the local yoga centers around me and
right.
then making a cover letter, finding out who owns the business, who makes the decisions, write a cover letter to that person, attach it to an e-flyer,
Yeah.
send it up and follow up with a phone call.
Beautiful. It's great that you have a predictable system of generating speaking engagements as opposed to, well, when it happens, it happens. I go to a networking event, I speak to people, and occasionally I get a speaking engagement. Like you have something predictable that you can rely on over and over and over again to
Hmm.
keep the growth going. The
Correct.
first 9 years of my business, public speaking was the biggest business driver for personal training. And I was doing about 45, 50 speaking engagements per year, largely corporation.
Oh.
And just like you, I had a very predictable system of going on about it. In
Hmm.
2019, email marketing became a bigger source of business for me than public speaking, although I still kept public speaking and I still do public speaking.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. Now, it's interesting that at first you have no idea how to get new clients. You just think I have a good product, I have a good service, and it's just gonna go by itself. And it does a little bit, but word of mouth is not enough. Word of mouth is nice.
Correct.
When it happens, that's fantastic. I love it. But it's not predictable and it's not proactive. You're at the mercy of somebody to do something.
Yeah,
You can push a button, get the result. With public speaking, it's exactly like that. You do a speaking engagement, you can pretty predictably generate between, in my case, between 1 and 3 clients from a presentation, right?
correct, correct.
If I
And
said,
you have to, being an entrepreneur, you have to take charge. You can't rely on the good nature of somebody to eventually remember, oh, yeah, you know what? 3 weeks ago, I did have Keys meals and it did taste really good. I should tell Sally about it.
yeah, yeah,
If
exactly.
I would die if that was actually the
No, exactly.
case.
Yeah. So at first you're running and you have no marketing whatsoever. And so your business is kind of humming along. Maybe it's going up a little bit. Then you discover your first predictable system of generating new clients, and then it goes from here and it goes very quickly up until
Yeah,
that plateaus again when you're at a like a steady state. And then with the new money you generate from that, you invest it into something new, whether it's getting a marketing coach or a marketing service or something else. Then you discover
right.
the new thing, and then that'll take you to the next level. Um,
Correct, correct.
so it's nice to have a few different predictable marketing systems. And to me, that's one of the things I love most about entrepreneurship. It's you can tailor your marketing to your personality. What you like, you can do. Like I'm very bad at sitting in front of a computer and I'm really, really bad at tech. I'm like an 80, 85-year-old with tech. I use
That's
Facebook the
hilarious.
way it was used in 2005. I just write text. I don't do graphics. I don't do videos. Just write text. Uh,
Right.
but what I do like, my four predictable marketing methods are one, public speaking, two, email marketing, Three, writing books, not books for just Amazon sales, although that's nice, but books for getting clients. And four, believe it or not, door-to-door sales. Um,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. Like I
That's
love,
how I used to run my construction business, was
it.
literally door to door, and we were a massive success in those days.
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend who actually runs a printing business. Very boring business, not sexy
Yeah.
or if you search him up online, you'll never be able to find him. No social media presence. His website looks like it was designed by a 14-year-old in 1998. Like that's not his shtick. He
Hmm.
his business is a $2 million a year business that he runs for about 5, 10 hours a week. And here is his entire marketing strategy. He goes to businesses that he knows are already spending money on printing and they have 50 employees or more. He walks into the office without an appointment just because he never talked to the decision maker. He just
Hmm.
talks to the receptionist saying, Hi, whatever you're spending on printing, I can beat it by 15%. Here's my business card. And she's doing the math. She says, okay, we're spending, I don't know, 10,000 bucks a month on printing. He can save us 1,500 times 12 months. She's like, then of course she would tell her boss or the CEO. And that's all. And that he did that like 15 years ago and he never needed to do anything else again and is humming at a $2 million per year. Uh,
Incredible.
one,
Just incredible.
one strategy. That's all he needed. Um,
And
yeah,
it works like a charm.
it works like a charm, right? 30 seconds per business, and that's it. But yeah, the power of just having some kind of predictable system to that you can replicate over and over and over again.
Hmm. Hmm. I
Very great
agree.
strategy. Public speaking, A, very enjoyable, B, very effective.
Yeah,
Um,
especially if you enjoy it. And if you don't, there are lots of different ways to learn how to become a public speaker.
oh, absolutely. Like when I think about it, when I was first starting out of public speaking, I wanted nothing to do with it, but I also wanted to make money.
Yeah.
So I'll do it. Okay. At first, I didn't want to speak to audiences bigger than 8 people because just to get my confidence up, etc. After doing 3 or 4 presentations, like confidence building presentations, then I started to approach the audiences that I really wanted as clients. And it's funny to me to say now that I didn't want to speak to audiences larger than 8. Now I don't want to speak to audiences smaller than 50. But I still do if I can. Um, but
That's
yeah,
awesome. Awesome.
something that might not be enjoyable at first might become enjoyable, well, once you start making money.
Once you get comfortable with it. And there's a group that one of my friends belongs to, the Toastmasters group.
Yes, yes,
And that what I've never been, but I do know that they teach people how to become good speakers if it's
yes.
not something that you're used to. So that's
Yeah.
another avenue as an entrepreneur that people could explore.
Yeah, well, I've been to a bunch of Toastmasters meetings, but never joined one. And the reason for that is they are very, very good at making a good technical speaker. In other words,
Mm,
you are doing corporate presentations and you don't have a product to sell, you just have ideas to sell. It's very different than when you're asking people for money. Uh,
right.
when you're selling ideas, it's very different than selling a product or a service, and you expect a some kind of transaction by the end of the presentation. So they teach you to be a good published corporate speaker or motivational speaker, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my mentee, I volunteer for the Markham Business Center. So my business mentees, I tell them there's a difference between speaking for motivation, speaking for education, and speaking for sales. Uh,
Yes, yes.
I am not Tony Robbins. I am not getting paid to motivate people. That might be a side effect, but that's not my main goal. I am
Right.
not an Ontario secondary school teacher. I'm not getting paid to educate. That might be a side effect of what I'm trying to do. I am an
Hmm.
entrepreneur. I get paid to sell. I make usually, sometimes I do, but usually $0 on the speaking engagement for
Right.
the presentation itself, but I have an opportunity to sell personal training. Um,
Correct. And
and
then you get three or four clients from the engagement, and there you go. There's your payment.
that's exactly it. Yeah. And I would much rather forego a $1,500 speaking fee in exchange for the opportunity to sell one personal training package. Uh,
Yeah. Or three at $1,500. You know what I
and if
mean?
that person renews, refers, then it's a much bigger sale than just to
Correct.
get as a speaking fee.
I
Uh,
agree.
Especially if once you start asking corporation for money, it's not you're not just talking to one person. The corporate bureaucracy is nuts. That one person is not the decision maker. In fact, there's multiple decision makers.
Correct.
Or
By the time they get back to you, it's 6 months later, and it's
yeah,
not a dependable way to earn money unless you're hitting absolutely everybody every single day. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly, exactly. That's why I like speaking for free in exchange for an opportunity to sell personal training.
Yeah, yeah.
You can
I'm
tell
with you on that.
I love talking marketing. What are you
Awesome.
doing right now that's exciting to you?
Sorry, you cut off. I didn't hear the beginning of that sentence.
No problem. What are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
I just developed my 6 month longevity group coaching course. So my coach, my business coach, has been after me for almost 2 years to whittle down my specialties. Key, you specialize in too many things. It's not good for marketing. It makes things difficult. It gets people confused. And I need you to figure out what your specialty is and let's go with that. And I've said to her, no, I'm not going to do that. Because everything that I teach is tied in. So if I decide to teach only one thing, then there's a part of me that's thinking, but I didn't tell you this, 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 and this, and these
Right.
things can happen if you don't know this, this, and this. So then I don't sleep well at night.
Right.
So I came up, most recently realized that what I actually want to educate people on is longevity. And
Right.
so I've given her one topic, which is what she asked me for, which is longevity. And within the longevity teaching, I have all my specialties within there, the big six that I teach. So
Yeah.
everybody's happy. So I'm really excited about this 6 month course that we're going to be launching on September 25th. And it breaks down what I consider to be the big six of mortality, which are Alzheimer's, cancer, heart health, gut health, um, type 2 diabetes, and life after 50. So everything that I have been studying for the
Yeah.
last 11 years. And so we'll break down every month, we'll take a different topic and cover the gamut of nutrition, mindfulness, and movement around it so that by the time the 6 months are over, the participants will have all the information that they need to take anywhere that they are in the world, whether they're on vacation or climbing a mountain, and have stable, realistic routines that they can apply to keep that strength and longevity going.
That is very exciting. So
It
one
is.
more thing for you to do, and on top of meal delivery and health
Yep.
coaching, there's now the course coming up.
I
Um,
got to stay on my toes, right? And just so, in case anybody's wondering, because I am a plant-based, whole foods plant-based educator, nutritionist, and I only eat whole plant-based foods,
yeah.
but I don't teach only whole foods plant-based. In fact, none of my clients are plant-based eaters, even though all I give them to eat is plant-based food.
Yeah.
And none of my coaching clients are plant-based either. Because the way I believe strongly in inclusion, not exclusion.
Right.
So rather than training somebody to live my way, I prefer to just meet them where they are and educate them on, okay, this is how you want to live. Here are the rhythms and routines that will best suit the way you want to live. So I'm not about I'm not about making somebody change their way of life to suit me. I have to suit what they want to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You make the program fit them. You don't make them fit the program.
Correct, correct. So if you are an omnivore and eat plants and animals, I'm no judgment. You do what you got to do. It's not going in my stomach. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I do know enough about, I'm well educated enough to know that here are the times and days and combinations in which you can have these meals that will give you the best mental, cognitive, and physical outcome.
Yeah, yeah. So
You decide what to
you're
do
not
with it.
dogmatic, and B, you accommodate to a person's
Yeah.
not just here's what's best for your health, but also here's where you are now. Let's just make it slightly better.
Correct, exactly. Because nobody's stupid. Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. We're not giving them any new information. We're not reinventing the wheel here. What we are doing, at least from my point of view, is giving you a different perspective
Yeah.
on how you can improve the health with the information you already have, plus maybe educate you on a few little tweaks that maybe you didn't learn over the years.
Yeah. And the emphasis is on little tweaks. The smallest things
Yeah.
make the biggest difference.
Correct. And simple things that they can do to enhance their quality of life now so that they see the results now, feel good about themselves now so that they will carry it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And based on that, it sounds like a program some like lots of people would benefit from.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I've gotten, to be honest, I've gotten clients where the specialists, medical specialists have given up on them, where
Yeah.
their last resort is surgery and their bowels are going to be part of their bowel is going to be cut out. And I've been like, are you crazy? We can do better than this, and give them the right food and the right guidance, and all of a sudden they go back to go back to the surgeon. The surgeon says, "Oh, we got to cancel your surgery. Everything is healed." So
Yeah.
it's incredible.
You
It's
gotta let
incredible
those things.
when the right information, and I'm not saying right in terms of somebody else gave them wrong information.
Yeah.
I'm saying right in terms of this is what you were looking for that maybe was not shared with you in a way that you understand.
Right. Just to make it applicable to them.
Correct. Make it applicable to them so that they can understand, increase their awareness, and now be a participant in their healing journey rather than a puppet.
Yeah, yeah, a recipient.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And what obstacles have you encountered in your time as an entrepreneur?
Many. I think it's been the ebb and flow of life as an entrepreneur. You know, when things have been good, they've been really good. When things have been bad, they really suck. And so the obstacle really for me, aside from, making sure that the company is constantly growing, that has been a struggle, if I'm being honest
Mhm.
um is also the main obstacle would say would be me, to be honest, getting out of my own way
Yeah,
and and stop belittling myself for the things that I haven't done
yeah,
instead of focusing on the triumphs that I have achieved and
right.
and moving forward with that.
Yeah, no,
That tends to happen a lot, to be honest.
yeah, I totally get that. It's like it's funny to me when I just started my business, the only thing I wanted, my only business goal was to make as much money as a physiotherapist. That's it. Very
Mhm.
modest goal. I think at the time they were making 80 to 100,000 per year. Very modest.
Mhm.
Nothing, not, I didn't want to have like the biggest business, the best business, etc. I just wanted to be a solo operator making on par with a physiotherapist.
Right.
Um, the reason for that is because when my parents wanted me to be a physiotherapist when I was in university in kinesiology, and I applied twice to physiotherapy school. I didn't get in. I was only like 2% shy, and I only applied to U of T, and that's it. Um, Jewish parents want to keep you at home. Uh,
So do Indian parents. So
yeah, yeah, I get
get
that.
it.
They're like, no, you're not going to McMaster. That's Hamilton. Uh, you're gonna stay in U of T and live at home. Um, so I didn't get in, but I thought, okay, well, I mean, if I can make the same money as a personal trainer as a physiotherapist, then cool. Um, I never thought I'd be like making many, many multiples of what a physiotherapist makes. And to me, I don't really set goals. All I do is I have a very small business problem, and I'm just focused on solving that one little problem. At
Mhm.
first, the problem was lead generation. How do I get more people, not necessarily, not even clients, just people to talk to about personal training? Um, Eventually I figured out marketing. At least the level of marketing would take me to the next level. And then the
Mhm.
problem became I started getting more leads than I had time to service them. The next challenge then became staffing. Okay, well, how
Correct.
do I get new staff members? How do I train them in my methodology? Because I want equal service all around, no matter who
Mhm.
they get. Then I kind of figured out that part to a point, and then I'm like, okay, now I have more capacity. Now
Mhm.
I need more leads to service those trainers.
Correct.
It alternates like leads, lead staff, lead staff, lead staff. And at every point in the game, the strategy changed ever so slightly. As about 4 years ago, I could no longer generate enough staff inquiries to like there were trainers, but they were awful trainers. I don't know why, but the number of good personal trainers has really dropped. So my usual channels of finding new staff members weren't working. I ended up hiring a recruiter. That solved all my problems. Now I have no issues hiring people who are
Awesome.
so then the next stage is, well, okay, now I have all these staff, let's get some clients for them.
Now you have to make money to feed them all,
Exactly. Now more lead generation. Uh,
right?
so to me, it's always just figuring out a very small business problem, and then that problem solved, a new problem comes up. Figure out that one, a new problem comes up. Figure out that one, new problem comes up, and so on. So to me, that's kind of how, without setting really lofty goals, just all I want to do. This is just a game to me. I just want to solve this one little problem. Once it's solved, okay, next, and so on.
I agree. As an entrepreneur, it's easy, it's really easy to take on too much at one time
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then get overwhelmed with, oh my God, I have all these things and nothing is working out. So I agree with you that setting small goals
yeah,
um, until you achieve one, then you move on to the next, and building from building on small goals rather than lofty goals or overwhelming goals is really the key. And also building in downtime. I don't know about you, but for me, being an entrepreneur my whole life, growing up in an atmosphere of entrepreneurial, like an entrepreneurial lifestyle, downtime wasn't a real thing.
Yeah,
Downtime means you're not being productive.
yeah,
And I have, I decided this year that I really need to flip the script on the language and understanding that being productive can also mean doing something that doesn't have to do with my business.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the brain is
Meaning
so
I could be reading a book or I could go sit at the beach. I could do anything that does not directly have an impact on my business.
yeah,
And that's still being productive because it's giving me a chance to walk away and come back with a fresh mind.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Exactly. Your subconscious mind is working on the business problems in the background while your conscious mind
Correct.
is working on something else.
Correct, correct. And I mean, the research does prove that if you do walk away, even if on a daily basis, if you're doing a task for like 4 hours and then you walk away and do something completely out of context of the work that you're doing for about 10 to 15 minutes and then go back, if your mind feels refreshed
Yeah, yeah.
rather than, oh my God, task driven, task driven.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. At some point, I reached what I call intellectual fatigue. I've been thinking about something so much, so intensely that at some point, like my brain is mush. I don't want to read anything
Hmm.
intellectual.
Hmm.
I'll just go for a walk. Uh,
Yep,
no headphones, no music. I'm not on the phone with anybody. I'm not texting. I'm just walking. And
yep.
that's when my best ideas come to me without deliberately trying to think about these things.
Right, because now you're not doing the chatter. Now you're allowing the ideas to come to you, if you know what I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
rather
exactly.
than you purposely looking for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, entrepreneurship occupies a ton of our time, but in the downtime and the free time that we have, what do you do? How do you spend your free time?
I love to read. Reading, listening to music, and if I have the opportunity to go to the beach, whether it's beach, of course, meaning the lake, where am I going? Go down to the lake, and anything to do with food, whether it's watching food shows or going out with friends to try different cuisine and keeping my keeping my interest in food and exploring different tastes and textures to then come home and try on my clients.
Oh yeah, that's the cool thing about being in the GTA. There are so many cool food festivals. Like,
Oh my God.
right, my gym is in Markham, but I live in North York. There was one weekend where there was simultaneously at Mel Lastman Square, a Hawaiian food fest, which I love
Oh
Hawaii.
wow.
My wife and I went to Hawaii for our honeymoon.
Oh,
And
I love
there was a
that.
Filipino food fest on the same weekend. I'm like, which one do we go with? You know?
Do both. Hawaii in the morning and Filipinos in the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I like there's so many cool food festivals all around. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah,
Uh,
and as a chef, I have to keep that skill going too, right?
yes.
You don't, I can get bored really easily making the same food all the time. So that's why in my meal service, actually, the menu changes every single week because I don't want to get bored. I
Yeah.
want to keep my skills up and I don't want my clients getting bored either and thinking, oh my God, Ki just made this last week and now I have to eat it this week again.
Yeah.
So yeah, our menu changes week after week.
Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting. And since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your
Mhm.
favorite business in Markham besides your own?
I have three. Can I share three?
Please.
Okay, great. First would be the Village Hive, owned
Oh,
by Charlotte Kirby. I love, well, you know them because you
I
met
interviewed
Grace
her
there.
about, I interviewed Charlotte about 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, Charlotte is fantastic. Charlotte and Monica. I've known them for 9 years now. Charlotte was actually one of my very, very first clients when I started the meal delivery service.
Yeah.
And I love how her business has evolved from, being just a small co-op, co-working space into this massive conglomerate that she's made now.
Yeah.
She's all over the place and it's fantastic.
She's actually
I
opening her second location this month.
in the one in Don Mills.
No, I think there's gonna be two Markham locations, one in her original location and one in around Unionville.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She's opening a new one in Unionville. I'm super excited about that. They make the place. Why I love the Village Hive because I've had seminars and workshops there, and I've met a lot of people there that I now call friends, and a lot of clients actually,
Awesome.
courtesy of Charlotte and the Hive. And it's just a warm, welcoming spot. Whether I work from home. I've worked from home my whole life, so I don't need a co-working space, but it's fantastic for when you want to hold seminars and workshops and talks. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So Charlotte's Place at the Village Hive for sure, and Laz Authentic Cuisine on Markham Road. When I was younger, when I was 15, I dreamt of owning my own restaurant because I'm Caribbean based. My parents are from Trinidad in the West Indies, and I thought I was going to be, back then, I thought I would be a Caribbean chef
Yeah.
and own my own restaurant and elevate the presentation of Caribbean food in
Yeah.
my restaurant. And then my mom, drew up a menu and I had a name and I designed the whole restaurant on big Bristol board and I showed my mom and she said, "Well, have you ever seen a thin chef?" And I said, "No." She said, "That's why you're never going to be a chef."
Oh
And
no.
so I went into construction. Lo and behold, of course, I proved her wrong and I did become a chef. But I feel as though Laz took my dream and made it into reality. Her food
Beautiful.
is phenomenal. If you've never been to Laz Authentic Cuisine, it's really good, authentic, as the name says, Caribbean cuisine and an upscale version. There's a beautiful patio. She has a nice inside restaurant. Her drinks are phenomenal. So she is definitely, her business is one of my favorites in Markham.
Oh,
And the last one that I would name, I mean, there are so many, but I'll just give you three. Rouge River Brewery.
yeah, I'm
Christian,
interviewing them in a week or two.
okay, they're awesome. So phenomenal. I met so many wonderful women through Fem. My girlfriend, Lisa Pinnock, runs Fem City Markham. And I was a speaker at one of her events last year, I believe it was, and it was held at the Rouge River Brewery. And what a fantastic, fantastic place to go get some good drinks, meet some new people, and just have a fantastic time. Like it's a really great place.
Oh, absolutely. Great atmosphere.
I love it.
Awesome. And lastly, how can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you?
They can email me. The best way to email me, honestly, because sometimes we have some problems with the website email. So Kieran Bissoon at gmail.com, which is KIRAN BISSOON at gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at Keys Kitchen. That's KIS_kitchen. Or on Facebook, which is actually Kitchen Key. If you go to Key's Kitchen, you'll find a Japanese guy. But if you
Okay.
go to Kitchen Key, you'll find me. Uh,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, email or on social media, we're always available that for any amount of questions or queries or to help anybody.
Awesome.
Oh, and the website, of course. Let's not forget the website, which is keyskitchen.com. That's KIS Kitchen, all one word, .com. And there's lots of information there too.
Perfect. And all these details will be in the show notes as well. Keith, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Igor. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you. All the best in your business and for everybody else that you'll be speaking with as well.
Thank you.